What was the question again?
The question was, how has your experience, and you had a very defining experience, how has that changed your perception of how the media does its work?
I'm viscerally aware of how it impacts people that have a lot to lose. And I think I probably took that more lightly than I do now.
Matt, Rachel, anybody?
Well, you know what, I guess, because I would try to not do a broad brush because I've worked with reporters and the media and felt really good about the relationships even when folks were asking me hard questions. So I guess my perception hasn't changed because I wouldn't paint everybody with a broad brush. I sort of think there's a different dynamic for the media now in terms of how the business model is set up, how folks are trying to compete, which sort of generates, I think, some of the things that I see that concern me. So it's not necessarily about individuals. I think it's where the business market has brought individuals and what behavior is being incentivized.
Well put. Rach?
So I do media relations as my profession, and one thing that I determined at the end of this, I honestly almost left the profession, is how disappointed I was with so many people that I felt were professional, good journalists, and just 3, 4, 5 people disappointed me so gravely that I was like, I gotta find a new business. That's pretty much says it all. But yeah, I just don't trust those people anymore. But there's a lot of people that I trust, same as I ever did, and I think it's an individual ethics. Your ethics that you live within your personal life and your professional life are often very, very similar.
Okay.
I've noticed.
Are we still okay? Stephen, a question?
Question for anybody who wants to take it. Knowing what you know now, what would you have done different?
Good question. That might be good for Rachel and for Laura right off the bat. Start off with.
First of all, I would have trusted my instincts better when people came at me with something that was obviously wrong, and I'm referring specifically to the 10 News story on whether Nathan Fletcher actually had a job, which was, I knew there was something wrong when they said, we have evidence that he doesn't go to work. And I said, well, what could they possibly have? Because I know the guy works. I know that for a fact. I've been dealing with him for a long time on various matters, and he always worked. So Nathan really wanted to do the interview, and I was like, no, something's wrong here. And the fact is that what they actually had was a database that he never used ever, and neither did the CEO, and neither did all these other vice presidents in the company and a lot of executives, because it was an engineer, it was a messaging system for the engineers, that kind of thing, where I just knew there's something wrong, and they're filling his quote into a story they've already done and they've already written, and sure enough, it was as if they were in cahoots with the Lincoln Club, because the thing wasn't even published by the time the mailer hit. I mean, it was ridiculous. So trust my instincts more, and make sure just to be very forceful about it, because I did have my instincts. I just wish that I had really pulled Nathan back from that and said, this isn't somebody that you can trust. He's not going to do you right, and I was right.
Okay. Laura?
I think that I would do live TV all the time because you have more control over live TV than you do over anything else. So that's, even though I know that's not possible, but I think that I would go in armed to know that every situation is going to be different. Because when you do this for a while and you answer a few questions, you have this expectation that it will be a little bit more of the same, and then you get a curveball and you're shocked. So I think I would have been, particularly at the beginning, a little more prepared for anything.
Okay, good answer.